Zodiac and Diamond, An Unbelievable Love. Written by Cindy Christmas. Chapter 1. Washington, D.C., 2012. It was 8 o'clock on a Monday morning, when a beautiful brown-skinned girl with pretty light brown eyes and straight, long hair was walking to school. Her name was Diamond Twinkle. She was a 16-year-old girl with a body like a supermodel. Diamond and her parents had just moved to the neighborhood, but Diamond hated it around there. As she was walking to school, with her headphones in her ears listening to music, Diamond looked both ways before crossing the street, but as she was crossing, a drunk driver came out of nowhere, speeding, and was about to hit her. As the car was getting closer, someone ran up behind Diamond and pushed her out the street so that she wouldn't get hit. It was a handsome guy named Zodiac Star. Zodiac was also 16, but with a body like a bodybuilder. He was light-skinned, with beautiful green eyes, and he had a low haircut. When Zodiac pushed Diamond out of the street, she tripped and fell on the sidewalk, so Zodiac helped her up, as the drunk driver sped down the street. Zodiac said, worried, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to push you that hard." "I'm Zodiac, are you okay?" As Diamond dusted herself off, she smiled and said, "Oh my God. You must be Jesus, and this must be heaven." Zodiac shook his head and said, "No, I'm not Jesus, and I don't mean to disappoint you, but this isn't heaven." "How hard did you hit your head?" Diamond felt stupid. She replied, "Hard, but thanks for saving me. I'm Diamond." Zodiac kissed Diamond's hand and said, "Nice to meet you. So how do you enjoy living in this area?" Diamond shook her head and said, "So far, I think I'm going to love living in this area." "Do you live around here?" Zodiac smiled and said, "Yeah, I live across the street from you. I saw when you and your parents were moving in." Diamond replied with a smirk, "So do you go to Achievers High School?" Zodiac sucked his teeth and said, "Yeah, I hate that school, it's filled with so many haters." Diamond stared at Zodiac, then she said, "I can't imagine anybody hating you." Zodiac laughed out loud and said, "You'll be surprised. So how old are you?" Diamond replied, "I'm 16, but I can't wait to become an adult so that I can have my own place." Zodiac replied, curious, "Why would you want to hurry up and become an adult, when most adults are in debt and they have so many responsibilities?" Diamond shook her head and said, "The reason why I want to become an adult is to get away from my parents. They have personal problems that I'm sick of dealing with." Zodiac smiled and said, sarcastically, "You weren't trying to commit suicide back there, were you?" Diamond smiled and said, "Ha ha ha. No, I wasn't trying to commit suicide." The two friends walked to school together that Monday, and every other day, they were together so much that people thought they were a couple, and that's exactly where their friendship was headed. On Friday, after school, Zodiac and Diamond were watching a movie, then Diamond's parents got home, so Zodiac left. As soon as Diamond's parents arrived at home, they began to argue and fight. Diamond grabbed a knife from the kitchen and walked up to her father and yelled, in a violent manner, "I'm so sick of you putting your hands on my mother. What kind of love is that?" As tears fell from Diamond's face, she yelled, "A man is supposed to protect his woman, honor and cherish her, because a woman is a precious gift from God to a man." Diamond's father, Jake, replied, in an even angrier tone, "Put that knife down and shut up. I am your father. You need to respect me. I bust my ass every day, trying to keep a roof over your head, and you go and pull a knife on me. Girl, you better take your ass back upstairs, before I give you some of what I'm about to give your mother." Diamond wiped the tears from her eyes, then she threw the knife at her father, and it grazed the side of his face. Diamond walked out of the house and slammed the door. Jake felt bad for the things he was doing to his wife, and he felt worse because it was affecting his daughter. He realized that he did a lot of things to them that he could never take back or fix. Meanwhile, Diamond spent the whole evening with Zodiac. They were watching movies and talking. Diamond asked Zodiac, curiously, "Why do men like sex so much?" Zodiac was shocked that Diamond asked such a question, but he smiled and said, "Well, my father told me a long time ago that it feels good. It's exciting, and it's stress-relieving. I heard my father arguing with my mother about sex, and that's like so childish to me." Zodiac laughed and said, "Your father is just trying to control your mother. He married your mother and now he actually thinks that she is his property, so he thinks he's supposed to get it whenever he wants. However, all men aren't like that." When Diamond was about to go home, Zodiac hugged Diamond. As they were hugging, Diamond felt his erected penis on her thigh, so Diamond kissed Zodiac and afterward, they had sex. The both of them were virgins, so the sex only lasted a minute. Nevertheless, for both Diamond and Zodiac, it was the best minute of their lives. When Zodiac walked Diamond home, which was just across the street. As soon as Diamond opened the door, she saw her mother and father lying on the floor, with blood all over them. Diamond's mother was beaten to death by her husband and her husband shot himself in the head. Diamond screamed and broke down crying. Zodiac pulled out his cell phone and called the police. He held Diamond as she cried in his arms. When the paramedics took away her parents' bodies in the ambulance, he continued to comfort her in his arms. The police officer on the scene asked Diamond a few questions, but Diamond was too traumatized to talk, so Zodiac answered the questions for her. The officer asked, "Were you here when this incident happened?" Zodiac replied, "No, she was across the street at my house." The officer responded, "Doing what?" Zodiac replied, "Trying to stay calm, we were watching TV." The officer was getting angry. He said, "Can she not talk, is she disabled?" Zodiac snapped, "She was over my house all day, her mother and father had a violent marriage. The clues are right in front of your face. The husband beat his wife to death, he felt bad about it, then he killed himself. And no, she is not deaf or disabled. She just lost her parents, she's heartbroken." Before the officer left, he asked, "Do you have any relatives that you can stay with?" Diamond said crying, "Yes, my Aunt Tracy." Diamond stayed the night with Zodiac at his grandmother's house. On Saturday, she called her Aunt Tracy, and she moved in with her. Tracy lived 10 minutes away from Diamond's school, so Diamond continued to go to Achievers High School. Diamond was falling deeper in love with Zodiac. On the day of Diamond's parents' funeral, Diamond cried uncontrollably. She couldn't believe they were dead. A few days later, which was August 10th, was Diamond's birthday. Zodiac took Diamond to the theater to watch a movie and back to his grandmother's house, where he cooked a romantic dinner for her. Zodiac also had a gift for Diamond, which was diamond earrings, and a birthday cake with her picture on it. Her 17th birthday was fantastic. Chapter 2. On Tuesday, at school, a dark-skinned guy, who Diamond thought was unattractive named Ray, walked over to her. "Hey, I'm sorry about your loss, but if you go out with me, I can make you feel 100% better, so do you want to go out, maybe this Saturday?" Ray asked, hoping Diamond would say, yes. Diamond looked at Ray like he was a psycho. She replied nicely, "I'm sorry, but I have a man." Ray touched Diamond's hair, with a smirk and said, "What your man doesn't know, won't affect your relationship." As Ray was running off at the mouth, Zodiac popped up behind him and said, "Dude, can you back off my girl?" Ray replied upset, "I thought you said, you all weren't a couple?" Diamond smiled, then she kissed Zodiac and said, "Well, we are now." Ray walked away angry as hell. Zodiac kissed Diamond again, and said, "Baby, are you alright?" Diamond took a deep breath and said, "I'll be more than alright, because I have you." As time went by, the couple's relationship became stronger and much more serious. Both Zodiac and Diamond were both truly in love with each other. After what had happened to Diamond's parents, Diamond's Aunt Tracy thought that maybe Diamond needed to talk to a psychologist to keep her sane, but Diamond refused to go see a psychologist. Diamond didn't really like living with her Aunt Tracy, so she decided to find a job, and she did. Diamond got a job working as a cashier at a clothing store called Riches. On a Wednesday after school, Zodiac walked Diamond to work. Zodiac said, a little disappointed, "I'm happy that you have a job, but it seems like I hardly see you anymore." Diamond kissed Zodiac and said, "Baby, I know how you feel, I feel the same way too, but I don't like living with my aunt, so this job will help me to get my own place, then me and you can live together." Zodiac replied, but you can stay with me and my grandmother, besides my grandmother wouldn't mind. Diamond smiled and said, I know, but if I moved in with you, my aunt would make a big deal about it. Zodiac kissed Diamond, and said, okay, call me when you are about to leave work, so I can walk you home. After work, the couple was in Zodiac's room cuddling. Zodiac said, excited, in about a week I'll have a car, my brother just bought a new car so he will give me his old one. Diamond smiled and said, that's great. I was wondering what happened to your father, like, how did he die and where is your mother? Zodiac replied, a little hurt, my father died from prostate cancer when I was 14. My mother, on the other hand, abandoned me for some guy she met on the internet. She claims that she never been in love, until she met this guy, so she said, no one, not even me, was going to get in her way of true love. Diamond laid on Zodiac's chest and said, well, we have each other and that's all that matters. The next day, after school, Zodiac told Diamond that his older brother named Ricky had helped him to get a job as a cook. Diamond was happy for Zodiac, but she was a little worried about their relationship. How is our relationship going to work if we don't have time for each other? She thought to herself. When Friday night came, while Zodiac was at work, Diamond was leaving work. Diamond decided to buy a few groceries since she had just gotten paid. After buying a few things, Diamond was on her way home, but she decided to take a shortcut through an alley. She was about to make a huge mistake. That night, Diamond was beaten and raped. When Diamond didn't arrive at home, her Aunt Tracy went looking for her. That's when Tracy saw Diamond laying helplessly in the alley with blood all over her, so she took her to the hospital. That Friday night Zodiac kept calling Diamond, but she never answered the phone. He was worried, so he went over to Diamond's aunt's house, but no one was there. Zodiac was going crazy, not knowing if Diamond was okay. On Saturday morning, Diamond's Aunt Tracy found out some disturbing news about Diamond. In the hospital room, Tracy looked at Diamond and then she broke down crying. Diamond said nervous, what's wrong, Aunt Tracy? Tracy didn't know how to tell Diamond, but she held her hand and said, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Diamond shook her head and said, what are you sorry about, Auntie? Tracy shook her head, as the tears poured down her face, then she said, I'm sorry, about everything that happened in your life. You have been through a lot. Diamond got teary-eyed, she said, God is just letting me know how strong of a person I am, you know everything happens for a reason. I'll be okay. Tracy bows her head down, then she shook her head and said, I don't think God has anything to do with this, and sometimes what happens in life is unexplainable. Diamond laid in the hospital bed breathless, she couldn't believe that she had HIV/AIDS. After Tracy told Diamond the news, Diamond felt like she was already dead. The doctors told her with medication she can control the disease, but Diamond just wanted to die. A few days after Diamond was released from the hospital, she became depressed. Zodiac called her many times, but she never answered his calls, so one day he popped up at Tracy's house to see Diamond. When Zodiac saw Diamond, he hugged her and spun her around. He asked, baby, are you okay? Diamond didn't even look at Zodiac. With an attitude she said, what do you want? Zodiac responded, a little upset, baby, I have been calling you, why haven't you been answering my calls, what's going on with you? Diamond rolled her eyes, and said, you should go. Zodiac yelled, Diamond, what is wrong with you? Diamond yelled back at Zodiac, are you crazy? Don't yell at me. Zodiac placed his hands on Diamond's shoulders, and said, baby, I'm sorry, I just love you so much. I was worried about you. Why are you acting like this, are you angry with me? Diamond removed Zodiac's hands off of her, and said, I don't want you in my life, our relationship can never work, so stay away from me. Diamond slammed the door in Zodiac's face, and then she fell to the floor and began to bawl, like a baby. She thought that it would be best to break up with Zodiac, because he wouldn't want her after finding out she was HIV positive. Zodiac went home hurt and pissed. He also cried, like a baby. Tracy didn't know how to deal with Diamond and her illness, so she decided to send Diamond to live with her other aunt in California. When Monday came, Zodiac realized that Diamond wasn't at school, so he went by her aunt's house to see what had happened to her, but Tracy told Zodiac that Diamond was out of the state, and she may not come back. Zodiac tried to get over Diamond by having sex with different girls. Zodiac was working full-time, so he dropped out of high school, but he got his GED. One afternoon, Zodiac received a phone call from a girl named Cherry. She was a girl that he had sex with once in a while. Zodiac liked her because she looked like Diamond, but she wasn't as pretty. Cherry called Zodiac and told him some news that he didn't want to hear. She told Zodiac she was pregnant. Zodiac dropped the phone, then he picked it up and said in shock, "Congratulations, who are you pregnant by?" Cherry replied, with an attitude, "Who do you think, Zodiac?" "You." Zodiac replied, still in shock, "When did this happen?" "I used protection, so I can't be the father." Cherry snapped, "I'm pregnant and you are the father, maybe the condom had a hole in it or something." Zodiac snapped, "Those condoms were brand new, are you sure you are pregnant? Maybe you are just bloated." Cherry yelled, "I'm not bloated, I'm knocked up." Zodiac replied, calmly, "How do you know?" Cherry continued to yell, "Zodiac, I took a pregnancy test and it said, pregnant." Zodiac calmly replied, in disbelief, "Pregnancy tests are sometimes inaccurate, so you should go to the doctor, to get the real results." "I did. I'm about 3 weeks pregnant." Zodiac paused for a second, then he said, "Since you are so early in your pregnancy, maybe you should get an abortion. Also me and you only had sex like 2 weeks ago, so there is no way that the child can be mine, so have fun finding the father." "Zodiac, I'm having this child and you are going to take care of it." "Okay, because you are the father. Now if you don't take care of your child, I'm going to make your life a living hell." Zodiac yelled in a violent tone, "Have you lost your mind? I am not the guy that knocked you up, so you can call the child support or the welfare department." "I don't care, but I am not taking care of any child that is not mine, so stop calling my phone, bitch." Zodiac hung up on Cherry, and as the days went by, he realized that he really loved Diamond more than he thought he did, and he needed her in his life. In Zodiac's life things were going really bad. One morning his grandmother did not get out of bed, so he went to see if she was okay, but she wasn't breathing. Zodiac's grandmother died in her sleep, she had a heart attack. Zodiac's grandmother passed on her house for Zodiac and $500,000 in her savings account. 3 years had pasted, and when Diamond moved back to Washington, D.C., she was 20 years old. Diamond graduated from high school and was thinking about going to college. She was also taking her medication every day. She was a lot better than when she first left. Diamond stayed in a hotel for a while, then she found a job working at a grocery store. After saving enough money, she moved into an apartment. On Christmas, Zodiac was going to his brother's house, when he saw Diamond. Zodiac yelled, "Hey, Diamond, is that you?" Diamond heard him, but she pretends like she didn't. Zodiac yelled her name again, "Hey, Diamond." Zodiac got out of his car and ran toward Diamond. "Diamond, why are you ignoring me? We were high school lovers, we lost our virginity together, we were madly in love, Diamond, what happened?" Diamond replied, as she was walking away, "We grew apart, that's what happened." Diamond still loved Zodiac, and she was happy to see him, but, because of her illness, she knew their relationship wouldn't work. 4 hours later, when Zodiac got home, his friend Ray from high school went over to his place. "So what's up, what's going on with you?" Ray asked, concerned. "Nothing," said Zodiac, lying. Ray took a sip of the Hennessy, and said, "I saw you earlier chasing Diamond, so what's up with that? You haven't gotten over her yet?" Zodiac snapped, "She's my heart, my first girlfriend and true love, but you probably don't know anything about that because you have never been in love." Ray yelled, "I have been in love. In fact, I'm in love right now." Ray paused and said, smiling, "Let me introduce you to my soon-to-be wife." Ray pulled out a bottle and said, "Her name is Vodka." Zodiac shook his head and said, "I slept with a lot of women after me and Diamond had broken up, but out of all the women I have been with, none of them can take her place. Diamond is a unique and sweet woman, even when I was with these women, I still couldn't stop thinking about Diamond." It's like she's a part of me. Ray shook his head and said, "It sounds like you are whipped to me. Tell me, what type of tricks did she do in the bedroom?" Zodiac snapped, "It isn't about sex, me and Diamond were just so compatible, and each moment that we were together was always exciting." Ray stared at Zodiac like he was crazy, then Ray yelled, "You need to take her thong off and return it, and while you are doing that, get your balls back, be a man. You know what she did to you, she turned you into a bitch and you don't need to be with a woman like that. In fact, I'm going to go, before you turn me into a bitch. That shit might be contagious. I came over here to invite you to a party tonight, but I'm going to let you stay home because you are whipped." About 11 o'clock that Saturday night, when Zodiac was on his way to the party, he saw Diamond waiting at the bus stop, so he pulled over and went to talk to her. When Diamond saw Zodiac walking over to her, she walked away quickly. Zodiac yelled, "Diamond, Diamond, can we talk, please?" Diamond looked at Zodiac sadly and sighed, "Zodiac, I'm dying." Zodiac replied, "Diamond, we are all dying. Every day that we live is a day closer to our death. Diamond, I need you, I still love you, and I always will." "Wait, what do you mean you're dying?" Tears rolled down Diamond's face. She said, "Zodiac, I love you too, that's why I can't be with you because you're too good for me. I'm not that same girl that you fell in love with, I'm different." Diamond walked away and Zodiac went to the party. At the party, Ray was talking to a woman named Vanilla. Ray said, "Vanilla, I need you to do me a favor. You see that guy over there? He's going through some issues, and I need you to help him out." Vanilla replied, with an attitude, "Help him out, by doing what?" Ray snapped, "What the hell do you think I want you to do? Now go over there and talk to him." Vanilla walked over to Zodiac and they talked for an hour and a half. They enjoyed each other's company, so they left the party and went to Zodiac's house, and had sex. While Zodiac was having sex with her, he was fantasizing about Diamond. When morning came, around 7:30, there was a knock at the door, and to Zodiac's surprise, it was Diamond. "Hey, what are you doing here?" Zodiac asked, in shock, but happy at the same time. Diamond smiled and said, "I was in the area and I just wanted to come by and see you. Are you busy?" Zodiac didn't know what to say. He thought Diamond didn't want anything to do with him. When Zodiac was about to say something, Vanilla came out of the bedroom, naked. "Hey baby, I was hoping we can go another round," said Vanilla, with a grin on her face. Diamond looked at Zodiac and said, angry, "So all this time you were chasing me, you had a woman at home. I see you have changed a lot, but do me a favor and stay away from me." As Diamond walked away, Zodiac tried to stop her. He yelled, "Diamond, it's not like that." He was about to run after her, when Vanilla said, with an attitude, "You don't need her." Diamond worked at the grocery store, about 5 blocks from Zodiac's house, but when Zodiac went there looking for her, he was told that she was no longer working there anymore. It was like Diamond had disappeared from off of the earth. A couple of days later, Zodiac started to think that maybe she was dead. As time went by, Zodiac started to get depressed. He wasn't eating, he hardly slept, he wasn't going to work, and he didn't even want to have sex. One day, Zodiac and Vanilla got into a huge argument. Vanilla yelled, with an attitude, "Are you gay?" Zodiac was angry. He looked at Vanilla like she was crazy, and he yelled, "Do I look gay to you? Just because a man doesn't want to have sex all the time, that doesn't mean he's gay. I'm just tired of your ass. You're tired of me. I see why she left you, because she was looking for a man and you are not a man, you're a transsexual, bitch." Zodiac walked over to Vanilla, and continued to yell in her ear, "I don't hit women, but I would beat the shit out of your ass, you got a half a second to get out my house." Vanilla ran out of Zodiac's house, and she went over to Ray's house and cussed at him. Vanilla yelled, "Why the hell did you hook me up with that crazy nugget?" "What happened?" Ray asked, curiously. "That fool threatened me, he said I have a half a second to get out of his house, or he was going to beat me." "What the hell is a half a second?" "Only crazy people say shit like that." Ray shook his head and said, "Don't blame that shit on me, I did not say to move in with him." Vanilla replied with an evil look on her face, whatever, don't ask me for no more favors, and FYI, your boy needs a psychiatrist. One evening, after work, Ray was on his way over Zodiac's house. When Ray arrived, he heard a gunshot go off in Zodiac's house, so Ray kicked in the door and ran upstairs. He saw Zodiac bleeding badly all over the floor. Zodiac had shot himself in the chest. Ray picked Zodiac up and drove him to the hospital. While the doctors were trying to remove the bullet and save Zodiac's life, the police arrived and was questioning Ray. So what happened? The officer asked. Ray was annoyed and angry. He said, I was outside his house and I heard a gunshot, so I broke down the front door and I ran upstairs. I saw him lying on the floor, bleeding to death with a gun in his hand, so I picked him up and drove him here. As the police officer was writing down what Ray was saying, the officer asked, Do you have the gun on you? Ray shouted, Why would I have the gun on me? Does that make sense? Are you implying that I shot my friend? The officer replied, calmly, Did you? Why would he shoot himself? I don't have no time for this. If I were trying to kill my friend, I wouldn't have brought him to the hospital. Apparently, I'm trying to save his life. After the questioning, the police went over to Zodiac's house, and an hour later, at the hospital, an unexpected guest popped up. What the heck are you doing here? Ray asked, pissed off. Diamond was teary-eyed. She said, I saw a lot of police cars outside of Zodiac's house. They said, a man was shot. I had to come and see how he was doing. Ray yelled, He shot himself because of your ass, you need to stay away from him. What kind of games are you playing? I want you, but I don't. What is your problem? Because of you, Zodiac could be dead. Diamond replied, with an attitude, What's going on between Zodiac and me is none of your business, and don't speak to me like you crazy, because I would slap the crazy out of your ass. You are just pissed, because I never gave you any of this. Ray had a smirk on his face. He was about to say something, when the doctor walked over. So how is he? Diamond asked, crying. The doctor said, Luckily, the bullet missed his heart, so he'll survive. Thank God, said Diamond, happy to hear the good news. Can I see him? Ray asked. The doctor said, Sure. Ray whispered in Diamond's ear, You can leave, and if I ever see you around Zodiac, you'll be the one with the bullet in your chest, but trust me, I won't miss your heart. Diamond left the hospital crying. She wanted to tell Zodiac her secret, but it wasn't the right time. She decided to stay away from Zodiac at least until he gotten better. The next day at the hospital, Ray was trying to convince Zodiac to get help. Hey, said Zodiac, embarrassed. What's up, man? What's up with you trying to kill yourself? Ray asked, confused. The doctor told me that you saved my life, thanks, said Zodiac smiling and trying to ignore the question. No problem, you're like my brother, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to you, said Ray, with a serious face. Zodiac shook his head and said, It's like I can't forget about Diamond. It's like finding out that you are bipolar. You can take medication to control it, but no matter what, you can't get rid of it. I'm not comparing her to the bipolar disorder, but what I'm saying is no matter what woman I be with, she'll always be the woman that I want and need. Ray yelled in anger, I think you need some weed. She doesn't want you. Why do you want that woman so bad? If you ask me, she's like crack and you are the crackhead. I think you should see a psychologist. I don't believe a man should see a psychologist. I believe a man can screw a few women and get over his ex, but your situation is serious, so you need to get help. Women chase after you, like how men chase after women, but you only seem to see one woman. You got to be crazy. Zodiac replied, Whatever, fine, I'll see a psychologist, but nothing is wrong with me. Chapter 3. A couple of days after Zodiac was released from the hospital, he stayed at Ray's house for a little while, and he was seeing a psychologist every Monday. Let me ask you this question, why did you try to kill yourself? Ashley, the psychologist asked. Zodiac paused for a minute and then he replied, I'm angry at myself for what I did, but I just felt like I didn't want to live without Diamond. I feel like she's a part of me, it's like she's a part of my soul. Ashley smiled and asked, do you think she loves you as much as you love her? Zodiac smiled, and said, I know she does. I remember one day she told me that she was dying, so I guess she might be sick, but even if she's sick, if she needed a heart, blood or even a kidney, she knows, I would give it to her. Wow. Zodiac, do you think that you may be obsessed with Diamond, because it seems to me like you are? Zodiac shook his head and said, I'm not obsessed, I'm in love. I slept with many women, and I know the only woman for me is Diamond. Do you think or feel like you would kill Diamond if she moved on with someone else? Ashley asked, curious to hear Zodiac's reply. Zodiac snapped, I would never hurt Diamond, love is not to hurt. Ashley cut off Zodiac, and asked, but don't Diamond hurt you, by telling you to move on with your life? Have you ever thought that maybe she is in love with someone else? Zodiac grind his teeth, I know she still loves me, and I know she is not in love with no one else. When love is real, you can feel it, it's like a vibe that you get. Ashley shook her head, Zodiac, feeling like you can't live without a person, then trying to kill yourself because you can't be with them, is an obsession. Don't be obsessed with anyone. Move on with your life. Sometimes, we feel attached or stuck to someone, but we have to remember that there is always someone better out there. Never love someone more than you love yourself, because when a person knows that you love them more than you love yourself, they take advantage of you. Well, our time is up, so I'll see you next week, same time. After leaving the psychologist's office, Zodiac went to his house. He walked upstairs into the room that he shot himself in, and Zodiac broke down crying. Zodiac cried for 5 minutes, then he heard a noise coming from downstairs. He walked out of the room and peeped down the stairs, and he saw a woman, it was Diamond. He thought he was dreaming, could that really be Diamond, he thought in his head. Diamond saw Zodiac and her face lighted up, she was happy, she said, Zodiac, is that you? Zodiac was happy too, Diamond, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. The two of them ran into each other's arms, giving each other a big hug. Diamond smiled, I'm so happy to see you, how have you been doing? Zodiac smiled, as he shook his head, and said, I've been going crazy without you. When I went to your job and I was told you didn't work there anymore, I thought you had died from being sick, so I shot myself in the chest because my life is meaningless without you. I have a psychologist, because Ray and everybody thinks I'm crazy. Diamond looked Zodiac in his eyes, as tears fall from her face, Diamond said, Zodiac, I love you, and I'm not playing games with you, but I have a secret and I'm embarrassed to tell you about it. Zodiac kissed Diamond on her lips, sending chills through her body, his kiss was so arousing. Baby, it's me, you know that you can tell me anything. I will never tell your secret to anyone. Diamond replied as she walked away, if I tell you this secret I'm afraid that you will not love me anymore and I don't want you to hate me. Zodiac got on his knees, and he begged Diamond to tell him her secret. He said, I don't care how bad your secret is, just please tell me. Diamond shook her head, I'll tell you one day, but not today. Zodiac got up and said, well, since you won't tell me your secret, can I at least take you out to eat? Sure, I'm hungry, said Diamond, with a smirk on her face. At dinner, Zodiac and Diamond were having great conversations about old times. Diamond, I'm sorry for what happened that day. As Zodiac was trying to apologize, Diamond reached over the table and put her finger over Zodiac's mouth. She said, it's okay, you don't have to apologize, I should be apologizing to you, for everything I put you through, and I'm sorry. Zodiac licked his lips, and said, well, you know you can make it up to me, right? Don't act like you don't miss all of this. Diamond shook her head and smiled. I'm happy that you're okay, but promise me that you won't do anything crazy. I won't do anything suicidal, but I might do something sexual, because you're gorgeous, said Zodiac, with an erection. Diamond smirked, thanks, and you are still as handsome as ever. Zodiac and Diamond started spending more and more time with each other. Every day, they were going out to eat, or to the movies. On Saturday night, Diamond was over Zodiac's house, he was trying to paint a picture of Diamond. When the painting was finished, Zodiac showed her the painting. Diamond was amazed. Wow, I didn't know you can paint this good, said Diamond, impressed. Well, you are not the only one with a secret, said Zodiac, smiling. As the two were about to kiss, there was a knock at the door. Zodiac peeped out the window and Diamond asked, "Who's that?" Zodiac sucked his teeth. He didn't want to see the uninvited guest, because he knew how he was going to act. Zodiac whispered, "It's Ray." Diamond rolled her eyes, and said, "I'll just leave." Zodiac responds, "No, I love you, this is my life, I don't care who has a problem with you or not. No one can't tell me who I should be with, so stay." Zodiac opened the door, and as soon as Ray laid eyes on Diamond he flipped out. "What the hell is she doing here?" Zodiac yelled, "She's here to see me, now what do you want? You going to disrespect me, because of that, bitch? Watch your tone and your mouth," said Zodiac, as he got ready to punch Ray in his face. Diamond grabbed her purse, and said, "I'm going to leave." "I will see you later, Zodiac," Ray shouted, with a smirk on his face, saying, "Yeah, get the hell out, before I tell him your dirty secret, bitch." "Ray, stop disrespecting her." As Zodiac was about to punch Ray, Diamond put her hands up, and said, "It's okay, Zodiac. I got this. Listen, bitch, you don't know shit about me, so what secret are you going to tell?" Ray laughed out loud. "You know what secret I'm going to tell, about that virus." Diamond sucked her teeth, and said, in anger, "You don't know shit about me, so I don't have to listen to this shit, Zodiac, I'll see you later." Zodiac yelled, "Diamond, please don't leave." Ray shouted, "Let her go. Didn't I tell you to stay away from her? Is she your drug dealer, or something? I mean, what is wrong with your ass? What the hell do you want?" Zodiac asked, trying not to beat the shit out of Ray. Ray smiled and said, "I got something to tell you about your little girlfriend." "What?" Ray put his hand on Zodiac's shoulder and said, "Well, I hope you didn't sleep with her, because she has HIV/AIDS. Zodiac's mouth dropped, but he didn't believe Ray. He thought he was lying. "Get the hell out of my house." Ray looked at Zodiac like he was crazy. He said, "Are you serious? I'm trying to save your life, again." "Well, you need to stop trying to save my life. I'm a grown man, I don't need no hero." Ray replied, with an attitude, "Fine, I'll leave, but I can't believe you are going to act this way towards me after all that I have done for you." When Ray left, Zodiac opened up a bottle of Hennessy, and he got drunk. That Saturday night, he was hoping that what Ray told him about Diamond was a lie, because if it was true, he didn't know what he would do. On Sunday morning, Zodiac went over to Diamond's house to find out the truth. "Is it true, do you have HIV/AIDS? Zodiac asked, hoping it wasn't true. Diamond looked at Zodiac. She didn't reply. Zodiac kissed Diamond, and said, "If it is true, I'll still always love you." "I don't care, we can figure something out." Diamond began to cry. She said, "Zodiac, I didn't want you to find out this way, I'm sorry, that's why we can't ever be together." Zodiac yelled, "No, we can still be together." Diamond yelled, "Are you crazy? You should be running from me. This can't be cured, so we can't be together, baby." Zodiac held Diamond and said, "Yes we can, and one day we can have kids." As Zodiac was about to finish what he was saying, Diamond slapped him and said, "Zodiac, I'm dying. I have HIV/AIDS, we can't be together." Zodiac said calmly, "I was watching TV, and there was a couple. The guy was healthy, but his woman had HIV/AIDS. They had kids and their kids were born healthy, without HIV/AIDS. Diamond, we can be together." Diamond shook Zodiac and said, "Zodiac, I love you too much to want you to suffer like I do. This disease isn't a joke. If I don't take my medication, I'll get sicker and I'll die. I can die anytime. I wouldn't wish this disease on anyone. If you love me, please try to understand. We can't be together." Zodiac fell on his knees and began to cry. He said, "If you don't be with me, I'm going to kill myself." Diamond's mouth dropped. She said, "Are you serious?" Zodiac smiled and replied, "I don't care how many women are in this world, you are the only woman that can make me happy. I love you so much, that if you die, I will die." I can't see myself happy with anyone else. We have a lot in common, we hardly argue, our relationship isn't abusive, and even though you have HIV/AIDS, you shouldn't let that stop you from being happy. Don't let that disease take over what we can have. You don't see a blind person stop living life because he or she can't see, so why should you? Later that night, Zodiac stayed over Diamond's house. They were laying in bed cuddling, while Diamond explained to Zodiac how she got HIV/AIDS. While they were cuddling, Ray was planning. Ray was in bed with Ashley, Zodiac's psychologist. Ray snapped, "Would you believe that I told Zodiac that his girlfriend has HIV/AIDS, but he still wants to be with that bitch? How whipped can a man be? Most people run when they find out someone has HIV/AIDS, but he's sticking around." Ashley replied, "Have you ever thought that maybe he really, truly loves her? God, I wish I had a man to love me like that." Ray said, with an attitude, "Well, it doesn't even matter, because when I'm finished with the both of them, they'll be together, 6 feet under, in their graves." Ashley replied, upset, "Are you implying that you are going to kill them? I hope you are joking." Ray smiled and said, "Are not you a psychologist? Isn't it your job to know what's going on in my head?" Ashley snapped, "But you can't kill them." Ray yelled, "Well, I will, and if you say anything about it to anyone, I'll kill you too." Ashley got out of bed and started getting dressed. When she was putting her shoes on, Ray reached for his hammer under the mattress, and he struck her in the back of her head. Ashley was dead. Ray got undressed, he covered Ashley's body in a carpet, and placed it in the back of his trunk. Ray drove to a secluded area a couple of miles away from his house, and he threw Ashley's body in a lake. On Monday morning, Ray went over to Vanilla's house to ask her for another favor. Vanilla sucked her teeth and asked, with an attitude, "What do you want, Ray?" Ray smiled and said, "I know that you are still upset about how Zodiac treated you, and I think you should get even." Vanilla shook her head and said, "Ray, I have a man, I am not thinking about his ass." Ray replied with an attitude, "Okay, but can you do me a favor?" Vanilla yelled, "No." Ray replied calmly, "Zodiac got back with his girlfriend, the one he has broken up with you for, and she has HIV/AIDS. I think you should shoot her ass, I mean think about it, plus, I'll pay you." Vanilla screamed, "Oh my God! Does Zodiac have HIV/AIDS too?" Ray replied, "I'm pretty sure he probably does, and you should help me kill them, because you may have also contracted the virus. Maybe I should kill you for hooking me up with him. Look, if I knew he was sick I would have never hooked you up with him, so you can't be upset with me, but you should be upset with Zodiac. Look, this is the plan." At Diamond's place she was making breakfast and telling Zodiac about the night she was raped. "That night I was on my way home, I had just left the grocery store. I had 3 bags in my hand, they were heavy. I decided to take a shortcut through the alley. As I was walking through the alley, it sounded like someone was behind me, so I walked faster. When I got to the end of the alley a guy popped out of nowhere and punched me in my face, my nose was bleeding." As Diamond was telling her story tears began to roll down her eyes, she continued to say, "It was a guy behind me, he pulled a knife to my throat and he whispered violently, 'Bitch, don't scream.' The guy that punched me ripped my clothes off, he raped me while the other guy kept the knife to my throat." Zodiac held Diamond in his arms as she was crying, he was trying to hold back his tears, he had to be strong for her. "Did they ever caught those psychos?" Zodiac asked, grinding his teeth in anger. Diamond shook her head and said, "No, they never did." Zodiac wiped the tears from Diamond's eyes and asked, "Did you see their faces?" Diamond replied, upset and hurt, "No, it was dark and they were wearing masks, but I remember the guy's voice that was holding the knife to my throat. I can't get his voice out of my head." Zodiac punched a hole in the wall in rage and he yelled, "If I ever find those bitches, I'm going to kill them." Diamond shook her head and tried to calm Zodiac down. She said, "Baby, don't worry about it, karma will get them." As Zodiac shouted, "Karma!" someone busted into Diamond's apartment. It was 2 masked persons with guns. "Don't move," one guy yelled, as he was about to pull the trigger. "What do you all want?" Zodiac asked, already upset. Shut up, said one of the masked men, as he took his mask off. Ray smiled and said, it was I who raped you in the alley that night and gave you HIV/AIDS, and my partner here held the knife to your throat. Both Diamond and Zodiac were shocked. Ray knocked over the table in anger and yelled, I had to destroy your relationship and your happiness. Well, at least I thought I did. I started to feel guilty. When Zodiac shot himself, I thought maybe I wouldn't feel so bad if I saved his life. For a while it made me feel a lot better. When I told Zodiac that you had HIV/AIDS, I thought that would make him move on with his life and forget about you, but it didn't. Diamond, I loved you, but you didn't even like me, so when I found out I had HIV/AIDS, you were the first person I wanted to give it to, and I did. As Ray was talking, Vanilla eased in the apartment and shot Ray. She pointed the gun at Zodiac to shoot him, but she missed, and that's when the other gunman shot her. Zodiac quickly picked up Ray's gun and shot the masked gunman. That's when Diamond took the gun from Zodiac and shot all three of them in the head, making sure they all were dead. Later that night, the couple took the bodies to a secluded area. That's when Zodiac saw Ashley's lifeless body. What's the matter? Diamond asked. That's my psychiatrist's, said Zodiac in disbelief. Let's go before someone passed by and see us, said Diamond, frightened. The next morning, Diamond moved out of her apartment and moved in with Zodiac. After moving, Zodiac took her for something to eat. As they were both eating, Diamond asked, so where do you vision yourself 3 years from now? Zodiac smiled and said, my goals are still the same goals that I had when I was 16 years old, and that's to marry you and live happily ever after with kids. Diamond shook her head and said, baby, those aren't goals. Zodiac replied with an attitude, yes there are. Some people's goals are to be rich, or buy a house, or open their own business, but those are material things, and I don't care about any of that. Having you in my life is much more important than money, a house, or business. I can't have kids with a house, I can't buy happiness with money, and my business can't bring me love, so even though it may sound crazy, my goals are to marry you and live happily with kids, and together we can achieve those things. What are your goals? Diamond paused for a second and she whispered, I don't have any goals. As Zodiac was staring across the room, he said, my brother has a friend that's from Africa. This guy calls himself a healer. He can connect with your energy, which gives him the ability to know what illness you have, and he gives you this formula to drink which he claims can heal you. Diamond rolled her eyes and said, he sounds like a fraud and his formula is probably a scam to get people's money. Well, I think we should go and see this man. When they arrived at Kenya, the healer's house, he wasn't home, but all of a sudden Diamond became very sick. She began to throw up. Zodiac asked, worried, are you okay? Do you need me to take you to the hospital? Diamond shook her head and said, no, baby, I'm okay, it's probably just something I ate, I'll be alright. Zodiac replied nervously, baby, are you sure? Have you been taking your medication? Diamond snapped, yes. Around 10 o'clock that night, Diamond was feeling better, so the couple went to a bar and had a few shots of vodka. Zodiac took Diamond's glass and said, baby, you shouldn't be drinking. Diamond snapped, you shouldn't be drinking either, because you are the driver. Now stop playing with me and give me my drink back. Zodiac replied with an attitude, you know you are on medication and you shouldn't be drinking. Diamond yelled, can you stop reminding me that I'm sick for once? I mean, God, can I enjoy life? Ever since I found out I got this disease I can't do shit, I might as well just fucking die. Zodiac replied calmly, okay honey, calm down, here have a drink. Diamond started crying and Zodiac wiped her tears away. Diamond replied sadly, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. Zodiac, why did this have to happen to me? Why does it feel like God turned his back on me? I try to live the right way, I try to help people, I pray, why did God curse me with this disease, why? Zodiac took a shot and replied, I don't think God has anything to do with what you are going through. Baby, I hate the fact that you contracted that disease, but as long as you take your medication and do what you are supposed to, you can live a long life. Zodiac kissed Diamond on her hand and said, baby, don't let this disease take your life without putting up a fight. Diamond shook her head and said, "Baby, I'm fighting a losing battle, so what's the point wasting my energy?" Zodiac snapped, "You need to be strong, Diamond. I didn't fall in love with you because you were weak. I know you are a strong woman, and having a disease like HIV/AIDS can mess with your mind, but you got to keep holding on." The next day Zodiac wanted to prove how much he truly loved Diamond by getting her name tattooed on him. Diamond shook her head and said, "Baby, you don't have to do that, I already know you madly in love with me." Diamond paused, then she kissed Zodiac and said, "It's only fair that I get your name tattooed on me too." The couple went to get tattoos of each other's names tattooed on their wedding finger. After the tattoos were finished, they went to see if Kenya the healer was home. When Kenya the healer seen Diamond, he knew that it was the medication that she was taking that was making her ill. He also knew that she was misdiagnosed. Diamond never had HIV/AIDS. Diamond ended up suing the doctor that diagnosed her with HIV/AIDS, and she got over $1 million. Zodiac decided to sell his grandmother's house, which he got over $500,000. Ray, Vanilla, and John were found dead, but no one was convicted for their deaths. Zodiac and Diamond got married and became parents of 3 beautiful children. Forever they stayed loyal to each other, till death.